Today's question is, what is the Day of the Dead? In this video, I'll answer that question from a biblical perspective. Then afterwards, as always, I'll share some helpful resources, so stick around until the end. The Day of the Dead is a Mexican holiday held from October 31st to November 2nd. The Day of the Dead is connected to two Catholic holidays, All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day, and corresponds with the end of harvest. On the Day of the Dead, celebrants gather to pray to and honor friends and family members who have died. Celebrations on the Day of the Dead involve parades, costumes, sharing sugar skulls and the bread of death, placing food and flowers on home altars or on the graves of the deceased, and marking the path from the grave to one's home with candles. Origins of the holiday have been traced back thousands of years to an Aztec festival dedicated to a goddess called Mictecacihuatl, but observance of the Day of the Dead have been heavily influenced by Catholicism. The idea behind the Day of the Dead is that the dead loved ones participate in ceremonies. It is traditionally thought that the boundary between the spirit world and the world of the living grows weak from October 31st through November 2nd, allowing people to commune with their departed relatives. The rituals required in preparing for the Day of the Dead are deemed important based on another notion. It is believed that the dead are capable of bringing prosperity, for example, an abundant maize harvest, or misfortune, for example, illness, accidents, financial difficulties, upon their families, depending on how satisfactorily the rituals are executed. There is nothing wrong with honoring the memory of loved ones who have died, but Day of the Dead observances go beyond honor and promote communing with the dead. Jesus indicated that those who have died do not have access to communicate with the living. They are not free to return to earth. See Luke chapter 16, verses 19 through 31. Elsewhere, God's word warns people of the futility of trying to contact the dead. Should not a people inquire of their God? Why consult the dead on behalf of the living? Isaiah chapter 8, verse 19. Even if the souls of the dead were capable of returning, they could not bless or curse anyone. Blessing and cursing are God's prerogative. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 33. The world is full of traditions and customs that are contrary to God's will, as expressed in His Word. The Day of the Dead is based not on biblical truth, but on a synthesis of Roman Catholic tradition and indigenous customs. The result is a holiday that leans heavily on superstition and empty ritual. How much better to focus on Jesus, the Lord of both the dead and the living. Romans chapter 14, verse 9. How much better to prepare to meet Him someday, knowing that He will judge the living and the dead. 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1. Want to learn more? Subscribe so you don't miss the next video.